own defense.
If he would have gotten out of the suitcase, what would he have done to you?
Like he used to tell me, he probably would have made me unrecognizable, or I would have lost my life.
Sarah Boone was on the stand for more than 2 hours today, and at one point, prosecutors asked her to interact with a piece of luggage at the center of this investigation. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. Boone's boyfriend, George Torres, suffocated in that zipped-up suitcase back in 2020, but Boone insists she never meant for him to die. News 6's Emily McLeod was in the courtroom all day.
Sarah Boone taking the stand in her own murder trial on Tuesday. Boone is accused of leaving her boyfriend, George Torres, zipped up in a suitcase to die back in 2020.
Did you believe that he could breathe in there?
Yes.
Did you ever believe he could die in there?
No. At all.
Were you trying to kill him?
Never.
Did you want to kill him?
I did not.
Boone says the night Torres was left in the suitcase, she remembers trying to come up with different activities like puzzles, painting, and listening to music to keep George occupied while they were drinking. She says Torres eventually started a game of hide and seek. Boone says she hid in the bathroom but came downstairs to find George already in the suitcase.
So at some point, did you zip him up?
Yes.
And what was he saying or doing when you were zipping him up?
We just thought it was funny.
Were you both laughing?
Yes.
Boone says things started out fun but took a turn. She says Torres began threatening her, and she says she believes she prevented him from attacking her.
My fear was that he was going to break out of the suitcase knowing that it was a broken suitcase. And his hand started to come through, his hand started to come through this way. And so I shook the suitcase, trying to get his hand to go back in, shaking it, and telling him that, please stop doing this, please stop doing this to me, please stop doing this to me.
However, the state maintains Boone was the initial aggressor because Torres could be heard on this cell phone video telling Boone he couldn't breathe.
Sarah, I can't breathe, baby.
That's on you.
Boone then testifying in court about abuse she says she endured during her relationship with Torres.
I started to crawl off of the bed to leave, just the bedroom. And he told me again that I'm not going anywhere, and he stabbed me in my leg, and it crunched. You could hear a noise that it made, and blood just started to come out of my leg just like a fountain.
And that was Emily McLeod reporting. Now, this trial is a trial that's more than 4 years in the making. Boone was arrested in February of 2020 in connection to the death of her boyfriend, George Torres. The trial was initially scheduled to begin in January of last year. It's been delayed 16 times for various reasons, including COVID-19 and most recently, Hurricane Milton. Last week, a jury of 6 with 8 alternates were sworn in, and opening statements and testimony began on Friday. And we are following this trial gavel to gavel. The quickest way to get updates from us is by downloading our News 6 app. We will send you an alert with all the latest developments. The app is free in your app store. Just search WKMG.
With more than a month left of hurricane season, we know a lot of people are still trying to recover from Milton.
No doubt. And earlier today, News 6 anchor Lisa Bell took questions from viewers to a top FEMA official, Willie Nunn. And here is just a snippet from that chat.
One of the questions we have received multiple times is, does FEMA help with the cost of food loss? One person said they lost everything in their refrigerator and freezer due to a 4-day power outage. That is something that impacted a lot of people in our community.
Yes, a great question. An initial start of the disaster impact when it was declared, folks can call in and register either that online disasterassistance.gov, either the FEMA app, calling that 1-800-621-3362. And in that, if they lost food, if they needed baby formula, diapers, there's certain basic immediate needs, we have that one-time critical needs, serious needs assistance, that's $750. Calling in and identifying that you have those type of needs, you can qualify for that. But as times change, as you evacuate from your home, you can use that for food as well. But as time changes, you evacuate from your home, or if you have loss of power, you continue to apply talk about your situation to us. Let us know where you are in this road back to recovery. And then you may qualify, the survivor may qualify for additional assistance.
So I do want to talk a little bit more about that because there is a lot of confusion, especially online on social media, about that $750 immediate assistance. FEMA provides several different levels of assistance. That $750 one is one of them, but that's not the only one that's out there. So clarify again for us, just in case there's any confusion, that $750, that's kind of just like the initial assistance that some people can receive.
Yes, and if you qualify for that, that's just that one-time initial. You're totally correct. And then as you go through the process, you may need, if you're separated from your home, don't have access to your home. At that point, you may qualify for rental assistance. And as you progress through and you can get back to your home, have access to your home, you may find you have damage to your home. We don't duplicate benefits from insurance, but beyond that, we can also, if you have damage, you will have a home inspector come out to your home, sponsored by FEMA. That person should come out and inspect your home. They don't give eligibility there, but they look at the damage of your home, and then we get back to the survivor on what they may be eligible for. And beyond that, there might be, if you need temporary rental assistance in a hotel or temporary housing somewhere, we have rental assistance. And if you're able to go to your home, even though it's damaged, but you're able to live there in a safe, secure, sanitary way, there's a $300 one-time assistance, $300 one-time assistance to help clean your home, to help get it ready for even more you can live in that home.
Yeah, that's a lot of information, but I'm so glad that Lisa asked and clarified the information about the $750, because if you have an Instagram or TikTok or Facebook feed, you've seen just the misleading information that's out there.
A lot of
It's
the
just not
misleading
true.
stuff too is on Twitter, X, because that's just a free-for-all of just nonsense. And I
Yeah.
will say that FEMA, they're designed to be a bridge
Correct.
They get you through the toughest part, and that is the initial phase. They're not there to rebuild. They do good work. I don't know why. Okay, we're not going to go down
The information's out there.
Yeah, and we do have the entire question and answer on clickorlando.com, as well as the entire interview. You can find that by going to clickorlando.com and looking under the top stories. And make sure you have our free Pinpoint Hurricane Tracker app downloaded on your phone as well. Our team of meteorologists constantly updating any storm's projected path. Just search WKMG in your app store.
All right, well, this video, it is pretty impossible to forget. When Hurricane Milton was coming toward our state, people were evacuating. One man left his dog tied to a fence in those rising floodwaters.
That man is now charged with aggravated animal cruelty and could face prison time. David Begnaud went to check on the dog, now named Trooper, and was there when Trooper was reunited with the trooper who saved him.
When America first saw this abandoned dog,
It's okay.
up to his chest in floodwater,
It's okay.
he was trembling, growling, and scared.
I don't blame you.
So when yours truly was invited to be the first journalist to meet him, we started off real slow. I had been warned that this 5-year-old bull terrier seemed a little wary of men.
Hi, buddy.
Armed with treats and a lot of patience, we let him lead the way, as his foster mom, Amber Gonzalez, sat with us. He had only been with Amber for 4 days when we met them, but he was clearly already smitten with her.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
It was just a week ago that police say he was dumped in rising floodwater in Tampa, Florida, as Hurricane Milton barreled its way toward the state. So warming up to someone new after what he's been through was going to take some time.
That was a very traumatic experience for him, and you could tell. You could tell.
Amy Radar of the Leon County Humane Society in Tallahassee says she was contacted by the governor's office and asked to personally find a foster home for him.
They had a collar and a leash on him. I put him right into my van in a crate, took him to my house. He met a few of my dogs with him on leash, and he did fine. That evening, when I knew he was going to be okay, was that evening he got up and he was all bouncy and he gave me a tail wag.
What makes you emotional?
just knowing that what he had been through and that could have ruined him, but they're resilient.
It was Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Orlando Morales who first rescued the dog that would later be renamed Trooper in his honor.
I got out my car, and sure enough, I look right across my front bumper, and I see his face just like sticking up, and then I kind of see water just pretty much up to his chest area, and I was like, wow.
I know you're both a dad and a dog owner. What did you think when you first got up to him?
Immediately I just thought, how could someone, like, I was kind of enraged at a certain point, like, how could anybody just possibly even think of, doing an act like this? And it was just awful.
Trooper Morales cares a lot about his new friend. So much so that he drove 4 hours from home on his day off so that we could reunite them.
You're looking good. You're looking healthy. Here you go.
Trooper was cautious, as we expected. He dropped his tail, looked reluctant. But then Amber encouraged Trooper Morales to walk him, as he had done once before. And that seemed to do it. The dog seemed to trust him yet again.
How is it to reunite with him today?
It feels awesome. I'm just glad that he's in good hands and given the care and love that he deserves.
Foster mom Amber is a nurse who's actually treated trauma patients. So who better to care for little Trooper than her? She also has experience with his unique breed.
I recently had to put my bull terrier down in April. 14 years, and I always wanted to foster, but I just hadn't quite got there yet emotionally. So anyway, I sent an email. That was it. I sent an email and I put a picture of me with Mia, my bull terrier, and then Miss Amy, who works at the Leon County Humane Society, she reached out.
And the next thing she knew, Trooper was home with her.
You've only had him for 4 days, and look at this.
Yeah, that's dogs. If you give them a chance, and that's the thing I love about it, is that he just wanted a chance to just be okay and be safe.
Are you going to keep him?
We've made a decision. We're just going to foster.
Just going to foster, okay.
Because he's kind of opened my heart up to fostering. I'm his bridge till his forever home.
What a bridge that is. I don't know how I understand why she's doing it, and I'm glad that she's fostering and probably will inspire more people to foster. But my goodness, how cute was Trooper?
I mean, just a wonderful dog that I'm so glad that Trooper was spotted in that time when everyone's running around and doing things.
How did they see him?
How did they spot him that far away from the interstate? And when we were talking about that initial video, when that was put on social media,
we both couldn't watch it.
I saw the caption, I go, I'm not watching that.
No.
I can't watch it, but I will watch that. That is the happy ending to that story.
That is for sure. Love that. That dog is going to change somebody's life.
No doubt.
Yeah. Well, it will not be hard for Trooper to find a forever home. This story has touched so many people across the country. At more than 500 people, and that's the number from yesterday, have either called or written, and they say they want him. Get in line, people. Get in line.
That's right.
Well, despite flood after flood, a local family has been repeatedly denied help from FEMA until now.
4 times we've rebuilt. 4.
The relief on the horizon and why it may not be enough. Samara.
And it looks like the winds continue to be gusty out along the coast. This is our Launch Credit Union camera in Port Canaveral. You can see those winds, they're still causing some issues for our coastal zones. I'll be back with the details and rain chances straight ahead.
And a win today for those who did not want to see a big new hotel cut off access to a popular public park at the beach. Details from today's Brevard County Commission meeting next.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Oakland, Metro West, and all of Central Florida. Keep it here.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, let's take you outside right now for a live look over Daytona Beach from our Daytona Toyota DeLand Kia camera. That is one beautiful shot. Sunset, woo, on the beach.
And it's good to see some
Glorious.
beach because at noon, when high tide's in there,
Yeah.
I mean, that surf is just kicking against the seawall. Not great. I know the conditions have not been great, Samara, at the beach. Meanwhile, we do have some really nice, comfortable temperatures out there.
Bring it.
Right, and the thing is, the biggest concern that we have for people right now that are taking advantage of the beautiful weather to possibly go out to the beach is, hey, don't get in the water. Just because it's rough, and even as it improves over the next couple of days with the winds dying down a little bit, it could fool you, but the rip current risk remains high. So, and it's very strong out there. So let's take a live look from our Port Canaveral Launch Credit Union camera. You can see the wind still gusting out there this evening. Overall, it looks pretty nice. Temperature-wise, we're in the lower 80s, upper 70s in Daytona Beach. Good evening to you in Orlando. Here checking at 81, 80 in Sanford as well as Melbourne. I did mention those winds gusting along the coast. Here's what we're looking at. Anywhere between 19 and 23 mile per hour wind gusts. Those wind gusts will subside a little bit, but not by a lot over the next 24 hours. So we're keeping that high rip current risk in place. The waves are going to be crashing out there between 3 and 5 feet. It could knock you down pretty quickly and drag, and then that rip current could definitely drag you out very quickly. Also, small craft advisory still in place, rough waters, a little choppy out there, and that's going to linger into the weekend, even with improving seas near 5 to 7 feet. Overall, we're not looking at a lot of rain tonight, and our radar sweep does show a few isolated sprinkles here and there. Let me take you into Volusia County first here, and we'll show you Volusia and Flagler County, all the way down from Ormond Beach into Port Orange, seeing some isolated activity, fairly light in terms of rain, maybe a brief pocket of moderate rain. And then as we zoom down the coastline a little bit more, you see a shower just offshore of the Merritt Island area and a few little ones here just in the Osceola area, but they're not big, bulky rain cells. The reason why, we have a lot of dry air across the state, and that's going to suppress a lot of the rain chances that we see. Also, we have moisture. This is moisture in there in the green, and that's associated with Oscar, the remnants of Oscar, rather. And it continues to make its way away from the state. Here's a better look at that. So notice that we still have plumes of moisture as we head into early tomorrow morning, mainly along the coastline. Then here comes that weak front. That front is going to push in even drier air, bringing our dew points down just a smidge. That way it'll feel a little bit more comfortable as we head into the weekend. Here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
As we take you hour by hour, we start the clock at 6 through about 9 and 10 o'clock. We could still see a few sprinkles of rain along the Brevard County coast before things clear out, and also another round possible early tomorrow morning. Otherwise, clear to partly cloudy skies, and then as the day rolls on, we'll be warming up again. Maybe a few sprinkles across the interior, but I don't have much confidence that those showers are actually going to maintain and hold. If it does, it's going to be very brief and very light. Your overnight lows will settle in the mid to upper 60s to low to mid 70s under clear to partly cloudy skies. Here's a look at your pinpoint accurate 7-day forecast. After we get through this planner, you'll see 85 degrees for your high tomorrow, maybe that small chance for rain again. But the 7-day outlook really keeps everything fairly dry, with temperatures even behind that weak front on Friday, still right around 84 and 83 degrees. So no big temperature dip, but the humidity is going to go down a little bit. And boy, does that make all the difference in the world, right, guys?
Oh, no doubt about that. Thank you, Samara. Well, imagine your home flooding over and over again. That's what happened to a family in Ormond Beach.
Yeah, for the 4th time in 7 years, they are drying out after being flooded by a hurricane. This time, though, they are a huge step closer to getting results from FEMA. But News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval found out it may not be enough.
This is what Lisa and Bruce Chiarizzi's home looked like the day after Hurricane Milton hit Ormond Beach.
We just got electric back this morning.
Storm surge and heavy rain flooded the Tomoka River, which is just a few houses away.
Water line in the bedroom is a little lower than in the rest of the house, but as you can see, they come right up to the top of the outlet.
And it sent water into every corner of their home.
This is 4 times we've rebuilt. 4.
We first met the Chiarizzis back in 2017 after Hurricane Irma hit, and we've revisited them after every storm has hit since then. We exposed how FEMA denied them twice applications to raise their house on stilts in order to avoid getting flooded again. Now they're on track to actually sell their home to FEMA. But what's a fair sale price?
It started out at the county, and I kept asking the gentleman, Shannon Ball, who was in charge, what the value was, and he kept telling me that he knew how to do his job and not to worry myself about it. And then when it was transferred to the state, I asked again, and I was told, don't worry yourself about it.
According to emails sent to the Chiarizzis from Volusia County Emergency Management, the county says the state submitted their application to FEMA with a proposed purchase price of $246,000, which is close to the assessed value found on the county's tax rolls. News 6 investigated, and we found out FEMA's own handbook on property acquisition advises communities to include a fair market value for the property using appraisals. The Chiarizzis hired their own appraiser, who estimated their home was worth $404,000, a difference of $157,000.
I want what's on that grant, which is fair market value on the day before the event.
Volusia County emailed the Chiarizzis, FEMA is more likely to approve the project at this lower value. Once it returns, the state would then be able to adjust the budget to the new appraisal amount, which we've confirmed they do have. We contacted Volusia County and Florida Offices of Emergency Management to shore up what the Chiarizzis can expect. Neither office responded.
If they were to buy this house tomorrow and say, walk away, here's the money, I would be fine. I would be okay. This is my house. This is my home. This is a building, but this is my biggest piece of equity that I own. This is the money I need to create a life for the two of us.
And this is just the application process. FEMA says it could take as long as a year and a half more in order to get approval and funding. And that means the rest of this hurricane season, possibly another hurricane season, that the Chiarizzis get to watch and wait and hope that their house doesn't flood again. In Ormond Beach, Eric Sandoval, Getting Results, News 6.
Your heart breaks for them because 4 times they've been through that. And now you can't sell that house to anybody because it's proven to flood.
Yep. And it's, you can hear it in her voice that she is just over it and wants this problem gone, but she also, at the same time, you're like, well, listen, fair market value here. My home is worth $400,000.
Yeah.
It's something that Eric will follow, no doubt.
Of course.
Now, if you or someone you know is dealing with a similar issue and they have questions about it, reach out to our News 6 investigators at the email address you see on your screen, theinvestigators@wkmg.com.
We are keeping an eye on a story we brought you from Brevard County yesterday. It was a win today for those who did not want to see a big new hotel getting exclusive access to a popular public park at the beach.
Yeah, our coverage of this controversy started yesterday at Lori Wilson Park, where right next door in Cocoa Beach will be Brevard County's only 4-star hotel when it opens in 2027. It's the Westin. Now, as construction continues, the hotel proposed renting Lori Wilson Park up to 100 days a year. A new dog park would also be built too, but before the county commission today, News 6's James Barbero watched as the public pushed back.
So I'm inside the county commission meeting during a break from public comment. And to this point, I can't recall anybody saying anything favorable about Westin wanting to rent Lori Wilson Park. Just take a listen.
I can't believe that you're considering this. This is a people's park. You have a $75 billion corporation that you're putting above the people that live here, the people that voted for all you.
Let me be clear. No, no, and hell no. Keep your hands off Lori Wilson Park.
So after about an hour of hearing that, the commission actually decided to withdraw the item from its agenda. That means they didn't vote on it. So then I caught up with the developers of the hotel who made this proposal. I wanted to ask them, if the hotel's already on the largest hotel property in Cocoa Beach, why do they want the park too? They told me they'd be doing something good for the community, like building that new dog park that I told you about yesterday. The dog park is one argument, but then there's the whole argument of a private corporation taking over a public beach. How would you address that?
We're not taking over. We're just being able to lease as you're able to lease it. It's not a privatization of a park.
So then were you guys surprised to see all this pushback today?
I think there was a lot of miscommunication. People were thinking that we were going to take over the parking, which we're not. People were thinking that we're going to own the park, which we're not. So I think there is an exercise where we all really communicate what we need and what we need to meet with the community.
So the hotel will have to draw up a new plan before they can bring it back before the commission. This was the final commission meeting of this group. There will be 3 new Brevard County commissioners after Election Day. In Brevard County, I'm James Sparvero, Getting Results News 6.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know living in Satellite Beach and covering Cocoa Beach for quite some time, they don't like change, especially when it comes to ruining what they feel is the charm of Cocoa Beach. It's got that old school feel. You put the Westin in there, people are already upset about that.
That's why these meetings are important, so you can voice your concern.
No doubt. Well, coming up, we're going to take a closer look at what's trending on clickorlando.com.
Coming up in the morning, stepping up the fight against the West Nile virus.
That's right. Neighborhoods where new spraying set to begin after recent rains caused a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
Plus your pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 5.
Let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. First, the story behind this nearly 100-year-old home in the woods in Ocklawaha might surprise you because it looks peaceful, right? It's really nice. But this has a very dark past. It was the home of the longest FBI shootout in history. You can learn about the renter described as a, quote, sweet little old lady who was actually linked to one of the most notorious gangs of all time. Why hasn't there been a movie about this?
Maybe, we don't know.
Intrigued.
Yeah. Okay, and here are some of the other trending stories right now over on clickorlando.com. You guys can't stop clicking on the story by digital meteorologist David Nazario. It's all about the potential grand finale of the 2024 hurricane season. Learn about where we could see one last push of tropical activity. And the MLB is hoping to find a Tampa Bay Rays temporary home. Remember, the roof of the arena was just ripped apart during Hurricane Milton? MLB wants the Rays to stay close to its fan base, the Orlando area complex. It's being included in the conversation of the story. I would love it to be over on this side of town.
I got an idea. It's where the Atlanta Braves used to play spring training games. Disney's Wide World of Sports. Come on down, Rays.
Absolutely.
And then you can get a little taste of the Orlando baseball fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we'll get our own team. Hey, thanks for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back at 11. Have a good one.